Okay, so today we're going to learn about solving equations, but some special cases that come up. So let's take a look. Again, our learning target is to solve equations in any form. So this is kind of the second part of solving equations here. And we talked about why we're doing this a little bit in our other lesson from the other day. Okay, so special cases. What happens? What are we talking about? Well, let's zoom in here a little bit and take a look at this problem. So when we solve equations, these are our steps again. So the first thing I want to do, just like before, is I want to solve this by distributing first if I can. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so step one, done. Step two says to simplify each side. You'll notice on each side here, there isn't anything that I can simplify, no combining of like terms or anything like that. So that means I can move on to step three, which means I want to get all my variables on one side. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to say, all right, I want to get rid of this negative 8x here. So I'm going to add 8x to both sides. And you'll notice something here happens, and this is why it's important to follow these steps, because otherwise this is difficult to notice. Some people like to get rid of their constants first, and that works sometimes until you get to these kind of problems, and then it's confusing. So here now you'll notice I'm left with no variables on the left and no variables on the right. So all I have is negative 4 equals negative 2. This is not a true statement. So what the heck does this mean? This means that no matter what you put in for x, the left side, this side, will never equal the right side. So it does not matter what you pick for x, you cannot make this work. So in other words, there isn't an answer that will work for x. So what we write when we see this, if it's not a true statement, which this is not true, negative 4 does not equal negative 2, you can write there isn't an answer that will work, and in math we say that means there's no solution. You can also use the abbreviation for that, which is the null set. It looks like a 0 with a slash through it. Okay, so you can write out either one of those two things. But so that's a special case. When your variables drop out, you end up with a false statement, then your answer there, no solution. All right. Let's take a look at another one here. All right, so in this case, let's see here. Distribute. So I'm going to distribute to this. Be careful not to distribute the 3 to the negative 8. So I'm going to copy this. And then distribute over here. So 3 times 1 is 3. And then 3 times negative 3y is negative 9y. And then copy the minus 8. Okay. All right, now I want to simplify each side. So the left side is good, but the right side here, I have some combining I can do. I can combine this and that. So watch your signs. If you're not sure what sign it is, if it's positive, negative, always just look in front of the number. So I have positive 3 and negative 8. So I'm going to copy I have negative 3 minus 8 is negative 5. And then negative 9y, so minus 9y. Now you'll notice these are the same on both sides. Okay? So now let's just pretend like you didn't notice that. We just keep going here. I'm like, all right, I want to get rid of this negative 9y. I'm going to add that to both sides. Okay. So these cancel out and these cancel out. So I get negative 5 equals negative 5. Okay, so this time my variables drop out, but I get a true statement. Negative 5 does equal negative 5. So what the heck does this mean? Well, when this happens, it means no matter what you pick for your variable, in this case y, It doesn't matter what you choose. You could pick -17, 32, 5.2, whatever. You will get the same answer on both sides. So in other words, this equation will always work. So all numbers work here. So what we say when all numbers, in math we say all real numbers. All the numbers that you are aware of right now are called real numbers. The abbreviation for that is this like script R, so you could write that instead. Either one of those is fine. So when you get this kind of thing going on, if your variables disappear, you're going to write, if it's a true statement, you're going to write all real numbers. If it's a false statement, you're going to write no solution. Okay? All right. So now let's take a look at a couple of other ones here. Things that might come up like proportions. So if you maybe remember this, proportions, you see these steps here, you're like, well, I don't have any distribution I don't have any combining of like terms, get my variables to one side. Well, I'm not really there. So first of all, you have to do something here. With proportions, I don't know if you remember these or not, but proportions, you cross multiply. So you multiply these two things and you multiply these two things. But you have to be careful when you do that because 3 times 2x minus 8, it's 3 times that whole thing. So 2x minus 8 like that. And then is equal to 7 times this whole thing, x minus 6. So you need to put that binomial on both the denominators there in parentheses. So now I can look at my steps here and follow those. But I had to remember how to solve proportions first. Okay, so now here we go. 6x minus 24 is equal to 7x minus 42. Okay. Step 2, there's no simplifying I can do on either side, so I'm going to get my variables on one side. I'm going to decide to get rid of this 6x on both sides. Don't forget that negative to go with the 24. Equals x minus 42. Okay, or 1x minus 42, however you want to think about that. And then now I want to add 42 to get the x by itself. Whoops. You're going to say, all right, $18. Okay, so x equals 18. So this is one of those things that you had a little bit of other stuff going on right before, but otherwise the steps are the same after you get through that. Okay. All right, so this is just a problem where you're putting it all together. So this is one to try and see if you're ready for the next step or the challenge problem, so to speak.